Hello there, I'm Nadia Azmi and this is Nightline, the top stories. PM condemns the US for vetoing UN resolution for Gaza ceasefire. And elderly couple killed by own son, suspect nabbed. Good morning. Police have confirmed that an elderly couple was killed by their own son at their house in Kampung Sungai Penchala on Saturday night. Prior to the 8 p.m. incident, the suspect, a man in his 40s, was believed to have engaged in an altercation with the elderly couple. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Dato' Alauddin Abdul Majid, who confirmed the incident, said that both victims, aged 72 and 82, were found lying in the living room covered in blood. After murdering his parents, the suspect was believed to have fled to a nearby area. However, police managed to apprehend the suspect, who was hiding under the Penchala tunnel of the Sprint Highway at around 10:30 p.m. The suspect has 9 drug-related criminal records. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. Malaysia is very upset with and opposes the actions of the United States to veto the United Nations Security Council UNSC resolution that calls for an immediate ceasefire in the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that on behalf of Malaysia, he also regretted the attitude of the US, which still defends the acts of killing children without restriction in Gaza.
Satu dunia menemplak beban, tetapi masih saya kesal dan bantah sikap Amerika Syarikat yang tidak mempeduli hak kemanusiaan. Sekarang kalau kita nak menilai Amerika Syarikat dari segi demokrasi, pada hak asasi, dari segi kemanusiaan, nampaknya kita tangguh dulu. Ya? Dan oleh itu saya ingat dari pihak Malaysia, kita nak lahirkan rasa kesal yang sangat membantah sikap Amerika mempertahankan pembunuhan dan kezaliman.
The Prime Minister stressed that there is absolutely no basis to deny the ceasefire and to immediately stop the killing of innocent civilians, which include children.
We have suggested we must stop the killing of innocent civilians, babies and women. And there is no reason, absolutely no basis for anyone to deny this and to frustrate the process. And therefore, it is really unfortunate. I'm deeply saddened by this outrageous decision.
On Friday, the US government vetoed the UN's resolution that demanded an immediate ceasefire in the conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, thus breaking the growing push for an immediate ceasefire. 13 other members of the UN Council voted in favour of a brief draft resolution submitted by the United Arab Emirates, while Britain abstained. For Datuk Seri Zamri Abdul Kadir, the UNSC's continued failure to objectively address the grave situation in Gaza is a great injustice and a total disregard for human lives in Gaza. The Foreign Minister also expressed deep regret that the Council failed to adopt a resolution demanding an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza, supported by 102 countries, including Malaysia, because of a single veto. He made this statement in a post on X on Saturday. This was in response to the action of the US on Friday that had vetoed the UN's resolution that demanded an immediate ceasefire in the conflict between Israel and Palestine in Gaza, thus breaking the growing push for an immediate ceasefire led by UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres and Arab countries. Meanwhile, Palestine's UN's envoy Riyad Al-Mansour slammed the UNSC's failure to adopt a draft resolution seeking a humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza on Friday. He described the failure as beyond regrettable and disastrous as he reiterated his call for a ceasefire, saying every further day means lives lost, people killed at an unprecedented pace in modern history.
We call on you in the name of humanity, in the name of justice, in the name of peace, to vote for a ceasefire by supporting the resolution presented by the United Arab Emirates as Arab representative on the Security Council. We thank all those co-sponsoring it from across the globe. What is happening in Palestine now and what will happen next will determine the future of our region for generations to come.
And a day after the U.S. vetoed the resolution, the Zionist regime carried out multiple raids in the occupied West Bank as heavy fighting continued across the Gaza Strip. According to the Palestinian Prisoner Society, the raids, which started overnight and continued into Saturday, took place near Jenin, Qalqilia, Nablus, Jericho, Ramallah, Bethlehem and Hebron, with at least 15 Palestinians detained across the region. Gaza's health ministry said 2 hospitals in central and southern Gaza received the bodies of 133 people from Israeli bombings over the past 24 hours. This included a teenager and a 25-year-old Palestinian who was shot and killed by Zionist forces in Dura. With the war now in its 3rd month, the overall Palestinian death toll in Gaza has surpassed 17,400, with the majority of them being women and children. The government is now strengthening cybersecurity in the country to prevent cyber attacks, such as the hacking of Social Security Organisation SOCSO website last Saturday. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said in this regard, the National Security Council (MKN) and the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) will forge cooperations with companies which have the capability to curb cyber attacks.
Kita sekarang memperkukuh cyber security dan ada juga keputusan Majlis Persahabatan Negara dan MCMC untuk menjalin bersama dengan syarikat yang mempunyai keupayaan mengekang serangan ini.
Anwar said this to the media after visiting the Madani government one-year anniversary program at the grounds of the Bukit Jalil National Stadium in Kuala Lumpur. On Friday, Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fadil was reported to have said that Cybersecurity Malaysia, CSM, National Cybersecurity Agency and the Personal Data Protection Department will conduct an investigation into the alleged hacking of the SOCSO database site. Meanwhile, on his social media posting, Anwar urged for consistent and dynamic collaborative efforts between Malaysia through the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM, and the International Islamic Fiqh Academy, IIFA, at the international level to continue. The Prime Minister said this is particularly in efforts to organise future seminars, research and educational programs. Anwar said the effort is in line with the goal of Malaysia Madani, among others, to draw synergies from various backgrounds to analyse religious matters with genuine understanding, balance and appreciation of socio-cultural aspects based on the Quran and the Sunnah. In the same note, he shared photos of a visit by IIFA Secretary-General, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Kutub Mustafa Sano at his office on Friday, with JAKIM Director-General Datuk Hakimah Muhammad Yusof also in attendance. During the meeting, the Prime Minister also expressed appreciation for Kutub's initiatives to raise women's status through knowledge cultivation and systematic study systems in several Muslim countries. Anwar also shared the aspect of educational assistance to Palestine, which was well received by Dr. Kutub. The Cabinet has approved a proposal from the Transport Ministry to transform the current vehicle driving licenses into a digital format. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, however, emphasised a crucial condition accompanying the transformation. Zahid said this matter had been brought to the Cabinet by the Transport Minister, Anthony Loke, to reduce the cost of issuing physical driving licenses and to include more features to the licence. Last February, the ministry declared that private vehicle owners are no longer obligated to display physical road tax or licence cards. Instead, they can conveniently utilise the digital display mode accessible through the Road Transport Department portal or the My JPJ application. The move not only simplifies the process for vehicle owners, but also serves as a significant stride towards advancing digitalisation across Malaysia.
Dia orang campak adik saya dalam sungai tu, dia orang nampak adik saya menggelupur dalam tilam tu.
Hukuman gantung sampai mati dikenakan terhadap tertuduh kes bunuh sedangkan mayat mangsa tidak dijumpai.
Kat situlah saya baru perasan yang arwah ni diperangkap.
Memang tak ada. Adik saya dah tak ada di dunia ni, tapi dia orang cuma dapat hukuman sebanyak 7 tahun.
Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital HTAR in Klang is actively investigating an allegation of negligence following a claim that a guide wire was left in the blood vessel of a patient who underwent treatment at the facility. Its director, Dr. Zulkarnain Muhammad Rawi, in a statement on Saturday, assured the public that every complaint would be thoroughly and transparently investigated, adhering to established procedures while prioritising patients' rights. He said the outcome of the investigation will be communicated to the patient or family to control the confidentiality of the information. He also stressed that the hospital will not compromise if negligence is found to have occurred while patients are receiving treatment at the hospital. Earlier, a man uploaded a post on Facebook which went viral, claiming that the HTAR left a 22-centimetre long wire in the blood vessel of a kidney patient. Police have brought in their dogs from the K9 unit to help track down those responsible for the murder of 6-year-old Zay Ryan Abdul Matin, whose body was found near the Idaman apartments in Damansara Damai, Petaling Jaya. District Police Chief ACP Muhammad Fakhruddin Abdul Hamid said the dogs were brought in to uncover new leads and the police were determined to capture the suspect.
Kita sedang mengumpulkan maklumat kesihatan sama ada daripada saintifik, daripada maklumat awam dan juga serta kejadian yang boleh membawa lead kita kepada suspek yang terlibat.
He added that police had also spoken to the residents in the area with dash cams to hand over any recordings which could be of use to the police in solving the case. He also urged the public to refrain from sharing or spreading any false information which may jeopardize investigations. ACP Fakhruddin added that findings from the victim's body will not be revealed to the public as authorities need to maintain confidentiality on the matter as it could affect the investigation. Selangor Police Chief Datuk Hussein Omar Han had earlier said that the police believe there were criminal elements involved as the post-mortem revealed injuries to the boy's neck and body and that the case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code. He was reported saying they were not ruling out the possibility that the perpetrator could be someone with a prior record of sexual offences and that police would conduct mass screenings of residents in the area to see if anyone had prior records. The 6-year-old victim, who has autism, was found dead near a river on Wednesday, one day after his mother reported him missing about 100 metres from their apartment in Damansara Damai. Japan cabinet marred by fund scandal. News from the foreign front when we return.
Jangan pandang ringan dan mudah. Anggap batuk awak ini serius. Woods ubat batuk dengan rasa pudina. Memberi sensasi kelegaan di kerongkong. Berkesan melegakan batuk. Woods ubat batuk yang saya percaya.
Selama ini kita anggarkan Perak Man rangka manusia terlengkap yang tertua di Asia. Tapi dengan penemuan baru ini, mungkin ini menjadi satu sejarah yang baru
Berdasarkan kepada tulang pelvis dan juga jumpaan hemata itu, kita percaya bahawa rangka ini adalah seorang wanita.
Hasil survei tersebut, kami telah mengesan candi-candi besar tertanam sekitar kawasan ini. Kemungkinan Jibina di bawah pengaruh kebudayaan dan keagamaan Kerajaan Sriwijaya yang tengah berkuasa pada ketika itu.
Stream sekarang melalui Tonton. Kanta lekap tiruan dijual secara terbuka.
Dijual dengan harga 88. Kalau harga asal dalam 30. Sebab tu banyak sekarang kat pasar-pasar malam banyak sekarang budak-budak pakai.
Jaminan palsu peruncit jerat pengguna.
Memang ada kesan negatif kepada pengguna yang menggunakan kanta lekap yang tidak disahkan keselamatan.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD di Tonton.
We're back with news from the foreign front. The European Union (EU) on Saturday agreed a provisional deal on landmark legislation to regulate the use of artificial intelligence (AI), including governments' use of AI in biometric surveillance and how to regulate AI systems such as ChatGPT. The agreement to support the AI Act came after nearly 38 hours of negotiations between lawmakers and policymakers. The European Parliament will vote on the Act proposals early next year, but any legislation will not take effect until at least 2025. Efforts to pass the Act have accelerated since the release of OpenAI's ChatGPT last year, thrusting the rapidly developing field of AI into the public consciousness. The law is widely seen as a global benchmark for governments hoping to take advantage of the potential benefits of AI while guarding against risks that range from disinformation and job displacement to copyright infringement. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is expected to replace his Chief Cabinet Secretary Hirokazu Matsuno following slush fund allegations that threaten to paralyze his already ailing government. The ruling Liberal Democratic Party and Kishida are facing mounting scrutiny after allegations that the party's lawmakers, including Matsuno and other high-profile members, may have pocketed more than $600,000 of fundraising proceeds that were left off the books. Local media reported that Tokyo prosecutors are looking to investigate the lawmakers after the current session of Parliament ends on December 13th. They said a plan to reshuffle the cabinet and appoint new party officials had also emerged and that changes could happen after the end of the parliament session. The Texas Supreme Court late on Friday temporarily halted a lower court's ruling that allowed a woman who is 20 weeks pregnant to get an abortion despite the conservative U.S. state's ban on the procedure. Following the ruling, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's office issued a statement saying the temporary restraining order will not insulate hospitals, doctors or anyone else from civil and criminal liability for violating Texas's abortion laws. Paxton's office also included a letter sent to several medical centers outlining action it will take against doctors who perform an abortion. The one-page order from the all-Republican top court was seen as a major test case since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the nationwide constitutional right to abortion last year, enabling states like Texas to pass near-complete bans. Jojo makes Malaysia proud. Sports after this breather.
Salah satu hutan tertua di dunia dan disambut oleh penunggu gergasi. Kundas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid, Ahad ini 9 malam di Magnificent 8 TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Penderaan, pengabaian, pergolakan rumah tangga dan persekitaran yang tidak sihat. Ini antara faktor utama stres dalam kalangan kanak-kanak yang boleh memberi kesan kepada kesihatan mental mereka. Jika tidak diatasi, masalah ini boleh memberi kesan kepada tumbesaran dan kelakuan anak-anak. Anak stres, perbincangannya dalam Hello Doktor, Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Kanta lekap tiruan dijual secara terbuka.
Dijual dengan harga 88. Kalau harga asal dalam 30. Lepas tu banyak sekarang kat pasar-pasar malam banyak sekarang budak-budak pakai.
Jaminan palsu peruncit jerat pengguna.
Memang ada kesan negatif kepada pengguna yang menggunakan kanta lekap yang tidak disahkan keselamatan.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD di Tonton.
Welcome back. Sports Muay Thai, the 2023 One Championship. National Teenage Muay Thai sensation Muhammad Johan Ghazali Zulfikar needed just 36 seconds to knock out Edgar Tabaris on Saturday, adding to his growing reputation at One Fight Night 17. 17-year-old Johan, or known as Jojo, began the bout by absorbing strikes to his legs before responding with a formidable onslaught of counter-attacks. Tabaris tried to hold, but could not withstand the Malaysian-American's vicious left shot to the body, resulting in a knockout in the first round. With this win, Jojo maintained a superb record in his One Championship career, standing at 5-0 with 4 of those victories via knockout. On to football, the Saudi Pro League. Cristiano Ronaldo marked his 1,200th professional match with a goal and an assist as Al Naser beat Al Riyadh 4-1 in Riyadh on Friday. 38-year-old Ronaldo opened the scoring in the 31st minute. The Portuguese skipper then turned provider seconds before the break with Otávio Edmilson da Silva the goal scorer to bring the scoreline 2-0 at half-time. Anderson Talisca extended the hosts' advantage to 7 minutes after the hour mark, before Andre Gray scored Al Riyadh's first goal of the night a minute later to make it 3-1. Talisca finally put the final nail on Al Riyadh's coffin as he headed home Sultan Al Ghanam's cross in the 94th minute for a 4-1 final scoreline. With this victory, Al Naser stood second in the standings with 37 points, 7 adrift of league leaders Al Hilal. After this breather, man brandishing machete in Kuala Selangor, nabbed by police.
Beranikah anda menyertai ekspedisi ke salah satu hutan tertua di dunia? Dan disambut oleh penunggu gergasi. Kundas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid, Ahad ini 9 malam di Magnificent 8 TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Alba, Sky, 1.
Selama ni kita anggarkan piramid rangka manusia terlengkap yang tertua di Asia. Tapi dengan penemuan baru ini, mungkin ini menjadi satu sejarah yang baru.
Berdasarkan kepada tulang pelvis dan juga jumpaan hand mata itu, kita percaya bahawa rangka ini adalah seorang wanita.
Hasil survey tersebut, kami telah mengesan candi-candi besar tertanam sekitar kawasan ini. Kemungkinan dibina di bawah pengaruh kebudayaan dan keagamaan kerajaan Sriwijaya yang tengah berkuasa pada ketika itu.
Stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Welcome back. The decision to expel AMNO Supreme Council member Isham Jalil was made by the Supreme Council. Party President Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the decision was made without the need to go through the party disciplinary committee. He also stressed that whatever that is decided by the Supreme Council is final. He was responding to Isham's claims that the sacking was decided by Zahid without the case being given a fair hearing by the disciplinary committee. Asked whether the decision serves as a warning to those who criticize AMNO and the party president, Zahid said that criticizing the president was not a consideration when coming to the decision. However, he said when a person insults their own party and belittles AMNO despite being a member, it means the actions will be dealt with by the Supreme Council. Angered over being reprimanded for making noise, a man brandishing a machete went on a rampage near a burger stall in Bestari Jaya, Kuala Selangor. The 44-year-old man, believed to be intoxicated, was successfully apprehended in the incident around 9:50 p.m. last Wednesday. Kuala Selangor District Police Chief Superintendent Ramli Kasa said the incident took place at a burger stall in front of a self-service laundromat. During the incident, a man had advised the suspect to lower his voice. The suspect then took a machete from his car and chased the man, swinging the weapon in the direction of the complainant. However, the victim managed to escape the scene and immediately proceeded to a nearby police station to report the incident to authorities. Ramli added that the police who arrived at the scene of the incident swiftly detained the suspect to assist in the investigation before taking him to the Kuala Selangor District Police Headquarters for further action. The weapon used by the suspect was also seized. The case is being investigated under Section 6, Subsection 1 of the Corrosive, Explosive Substances and Dangerous Weapons Act 1958 and Section 506 of the Penal Code. The woman who was found encased in cement in a bathroom at Kampong Pendamar Klang has been identified as an Indian national. Selangor Police Chief Commissioner Datuk Hussein Omar Khan revealed key details about the victim, stating she stood at 160 centimeters in height and was believed to be the girlfriend of a previous tenant of the residence. Hussein said that the authorities have diligently engaged with the Indian Embassy to gather additional information and will contact the victim's family. Police also have called 10 witnesses to assist with the investigation. A sketch of the victim was also obtained by the authorities based on witnesses' statements. So far, investigations found that the main suspect is an Indian national who is one of the two suspects wanted by police for the murder investigation. Previously, a 53-year-old foreign man had been detained and police are tracking down 2 other foreigners in connection with the murder of the victim. As we conclude this edition of Nightline, let's take a look on a poignant moment at the Berlin Zoo, where a special send-off ceremony took place to honor the twin panda cubs named Pit and Polly. Having been born and spent their years at the zoo since 2019, these pandas are now set to embark on a journey back to China. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for tuning in and have a restful Sunday ahead.